Hi there, Lisa McCarthy here from youraddict.com. Excited to be coming at you with day 4 of the Fast Track Your Fashion Brand Challenge. Thanks so much for showing up, and thank you for all of the contributions you guys have been making over in the Facebook group. I want to do a quick recap for you guys about what we've gone over in the past 3 days. So on day 1, we talked about creating a product idea you're crazy about. Day 2, we dove deep into getting to know your customer. On day 3, we created a custom plan for you to get to your big goal at the end of 2018. And today we're going to be talking about how to find the money to actually fund this business. So if you've been doing the work, you're probably starting to see yourself getting closer and closer to your goal, and that is the power of having a plan. Over the past 15 years in the fashion industry, I've gone through the product creation process for thousands of styles, and I've worked with factories all over the world. I worked in product categories from children's wear to outerwear to athletic wear and everything in between. And for each of those styles that I helped to create, I learned a lesson, and I am so excited to be able to share with you those lessons that I learned along the way so that you don't have to make those same mistakes. But in order for you to be able to actually start the process of starting your clothing line, you're going to have to figure out where some of this money is going to come from. So I've seen people start with as little as $200 all the way up to $100,000 or more, and everything in between. And my personal recommendation is to try and self-fund as much as possible. So there are 3 different things to look at when self-funding. The first thing that I would say is that there is absolutely no shame in keeping your day job. So if you want to go after this idea, it is so helpful to continue to have income coming in as you build up your idea. And then as your business starts to make money, you will get to a place where you can quit your day job. But it is going to be very difficult unless you have significant savings for you to be able to fund this without having some sort of paycheck come in. So there's no shame to keeping that day job. Number 2 thing to consider is something that people call the latte factor, which is what are those little things that you spend money on day after day after day that aren't as important to you as you might think when you're actually spending out the money. So what I encourage you to do is to track down everything that you're spending for 3 days, and then to go back and look at where that money was going and say, hey, if I was funding this much money every day back into my business, would I be able to make this happen? And you might say, no, I want all of those things more than I want this idea of starting my own clothing line, and that's fine. That just means that starting the clothing line is not the most important thing to you, and it's good to get really, really clear on that. So that's just another way to think of where money might be available. After you look at self-funding, you might also want to look at loans and grants. So small business grants are things that you can generally apply to through government, through your government websites. And I would recommend that when you are looking for grants, that you are going to a government website, not those little ads at the top of the Google search that are trying to reel you in to try and give you free money. So really, really be cautious as you're applying for those grants that they're with a reputable source. Another way to go is through a small business loan through a financial institution. So talk to your bank, see if this is an option for them to be able to give you a small business loan. They are going to want to see that you are investing some of your own money into this, that you're truly invested before they give some money. So traditionally, they're looking for you to invest 20 to 25% of your own money before a bank is going to give you some money. So that generally is how people would fund their initial prototype creation within starting their clothing line. When you're getting into actually doing your bulk production of your line, this is where you actually have another very large investment, because you're buying 100, 200, 1,000, 5,000 pieces of something. And this is a significant investment compared to just getting 1 or 2 samples made up front. So one route that people go if they don't have the large amount of money to invest in that inventory is to go the pre-selling route. So I'm going to walk you through just 3 different ways. I think or 4 different ways where you can pre-sell your line and get the money for your production without actually having to have all of your product made. So the first is with a Kickstarter campaign. So this is a website, if you're not familiar with it, where you can basically put up your product, tell the story about it, and have people invest in your idea, and then you use that money to have it made. So generally how this works is somebody would say, okay, I will pay $100 up front because your idea is so great. You collect all of that money, then you can actually go and produce those things, and then you end up giving them that product at the end. Where this works the best is when it's a single product that has a very compelling story that you can tell. So it's something that's technical, something that's doing something different. This isn't great for a fashion idea where somebody's looking for the hottest trends, because it's something that you're not going to be able to deliver for a long time, and it's not the type of customer that's going to Kickstarter. It's not somebody that's looking for something that's very, very fashion. If you are looking for something that's much more fashion focused, a great website is 19th Amendment. They are specifically for designer clothing brands that do small runs of production. So again, you would have your first prototypes made up, you would tell the story about your clothes online, your customer would be able to place an order that wouldn't be fulfilled for another, say, 6 weeks. You would collect those orders, and then you would place a small production run with a US manufacturer and then ship those products to the customers. So 19th Amendment does something really cool where they allow you to pay a monthly membership fee, and then they facilitate that ordering process with factories. So they'll actually connect you with US factories that will do these small runs of production. They also support you with other services in some of the things that we talked about yesterday, where you want a specialized person that can do those things. So they have like pattern makers and photographers and people that you can work with to help you bring your product line together. So if 19th Amendment is not one you've heard of, I would recommend that you check that out as well. The third way to pre-sell your product is at a personal shopping party. So this is where you would invite your friends and family into your home. You would ideally be able to show them your product and let them try it on, test it out, fall in love with it, and then they would place an order with you, pay for that order, and then you would collect all of that money, place a production run with your factory, and then be able to actually send the product back out to these people. So because they're your friends and family and they trust you and they know that you're going to be delivering the product at the end, this is a great group of people to go to, and they get something on the back end. They actually get the product. So this is another avenue to go down to pre-sell your product to fund that production line. The last one that I want to talk about is something that I started to see as much more common, is people setting up either just like a very basic website or even just through Facebook or Instagram, posting your product, and then either doing your own very small runs as things trickle in, or selling it for a limited time, collecting orders within that time, and then batching a production run. So saying, this dress is going to be available for the next 2 weeks. Buy it now. If you don't buy it now, you're going to miss your chance. You add up all of those orders that come in within the 2 weeks. You take that money and you fund actually getting it produced. So that's another way, without having to sign up for one of these websites and do a big campaign around it, where you can just use the social media platforms that you have or a very basic website to actually sell your product before you run the production of that. So hopefully those give you some ideas on how you could get the money to actually get the ball rolling to start up your fashion line. So now what I want you to do is to get into the work. I want you to come up with a plan for how you're going to fund your business. So I want you to look at exactly how much money you think you need to get started and where that money is going to come from. So one of the things that I know is going to be a challenge for people as they're doing this, because for me, it was a huge challenge when I was starting my business, is really having the confidence to invest in yourself. So I know that when I'm looking at making investments in my own business, I'm always like, here? Could I bootstrap it? Could I figure this out? Could I do it the cheapest way? And I spend so much time and effort and resources trying to figure out how to not spend money on this, that it's like, if I just spent the money on it, then I would actually be able to catapult my business and move it to the next level much, much quicker. So one of the things that's helped me move past that is to think about, if it was my best friend or my husband coming to me saying, I want to do this business, and this has actually happened in my life, that it's like, hey, I really want to invest this money in this business. I'm like, hell yeah, of course I would want to invest in that too. Of course I would give my money to that. And what it made me do was to stop and think and say, hey, if I'm so quick to invest in these other people that have these great ideas, why would I not invest in myself? And that has really helped me to shift being able to invest in my own dreams and spend money on the things that I think are really important in my life. So hopefully that helps you shift that a little bit for yourself. So I want you to really take the thought about everything that we've done for the past 4 days and start to realize that this really is possible for you to make your clothing line a profitable business, not just a hobby, but an actual business that's bringing in revenue that's going to help you support your family. I've seen people start with as little as $200, like I've said, and I've seen people do it while they are still keeping their day job. Even think about Lululemon. The founder of Lululemon started that business while he still worked his other full-time job, and little step by little step by little step, he built $1 billion business. So it is possible. You just have to think of creative ways to make that happen. So I wanted to just give you guys a little bit of a heads up that as this is becoming more real for you, I recognize that you are going to need some guidance along the way of people that have walked this path before. So tomorrow I'm going to be coming at you guys in my video to talk about a special offer that I have coming up that I'm super excited about. It is going to be for a limited time offer. So I do want you guys to make sure that when the email comes in tomorrow on Friday, that you're getting that right away so that you don't miss your chance to get in on this. So for today's homework, I want you guys to pop over into the Facebook group. And I know talking about money and stuff is scary, so don't flake out on the last day. This is the real, like the big one with the bonus in there. I want you to say how you're going to fund your line and bonus points if you are comfortable saying how much money you're going to invest. Again, I'm going to be announcing tomorrow on Friday the winner of the challenge that has been the most supportive, shared the most, really put themselves out there in the Facebook group. So I'm going to be showing up with that prize on Friday. So you want to make sure that you're in there again today, telling me all about what you're going to be up to, and make sure this is a great day to be reading everybody else's comments and seeing what they're up to, because other people might have other creative ideas on how to fund their business that you haven't considered yet. So take a look through and see how other people are going to do that. All right, that's it for day 4. Thanks so much for joining me. I can't wait to check over in the Facebook group how you guys are going to come up with this plan, and I will be back at you tomorrow with that really exciting offer. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.